Thank you, ma'am. Indeed a pleasure to be here. While they load the slides, I'll just tell you briefly about what we are going to talk about. I'll be talking about what are the challenges for medical device innovation in India. We have started a small, humble program at All India Institute in collaboration with Stanford University and IIT Delhi, wherein we are trying to innovate newer devices. And this program is basically these devices are going to be useful not only for India but for the rest of the world, because they are low cost, and these devices are initially class 1 devices, but then we will be going to more to class 2 and class 3 devices. So this program has been running for 5 years, and this is called the Biodesign Program, and it is a collaborative effort wherein the DBT, the ST, NIH, and the US Science Technology have helped us, the institute. So now for in the healthcare milieu, the government is helping tremendously. There are institutions which are helping us. There is some industry participation which is happening, and there are the various models for innovation. Could be either a fellowship program or a teaching program or an internship program, and then you can have incubation grants, or you can have funding and co-development. So in the Biodesign Program, we have trained 21 fellows over the last 4 years, 28 interns. We have got 20 provisional patents, 5 complete PCT applications have been done. We have 9 products under development. 50% have, half of them have human data. We have 1 startup which has spun off from this program, and we have done 5 MedTech summits. Good progress, but more needs to be done. Now what is the problems that we faced while we were trying to develop devices, and what are the healthcare challenges for medical device innovation in the country? See, the health inequity is there. There is impoverishment. There is inadequate availability. There is poor reach and unequal access, and everyone has been talking about it. And the healthcare services are expensive. So India's share of global burden of disease is that 80% of the deaths are Indians, 20% of disability life are Indian, and 50%, more than half, are due to chronic diseases, and more than 1/3 are due to the communicable diseases, maternal child health care. And our infant mortality rate is still abysmal. Our infant mortality rate is about 58 compared to 54 in Bangladesh and 28 in China. So we are still having a major problems with healthcare reach in the periphery in the country. Chronic diseases are going to increase, and if you look at from 2005 to 2015, we will have about 62 million patients of coronary artery disease, 46 million patients of diabetes, 34 million of asthma. So it's going to really double, and it's going to be a double transition. Basically, the infectious malaria, filarial leprosy, tuberculosis is still not over, and we've got obesity, cancer, coronary artery disease, and maternal child health care still not over, and these problems are coming. But we know the expenditure on healthcare has been 0.9% of our GDP, which should be about 5%, and people have talked about it. Dollar spent, international dollar spent, is about 19 as compared to 207 and 500 in the US. 80% of our medical devices are imported, and devices are foreign in technology, product, and even usability. And it is a major concern because they are only for the 20% of the population. These devices, 80% of the population is not able to utilize any of these medical devices, and 1/3 of the patients borrow money either for drugs or for diagnostics or for devices, and there is high out-of-pocket expenditure. If you look at the out-of-pocket expenditure, it's 78% in India, 83% in Pakistan, 61% in China, and it's about only 25% in the US, which is a capitalistic. The healthcare is, there's major health insurances, but the per person spent is only 25% compared to 78% in India. And because of this major expenditure, out-of-pocket expenditure per person, 39 million people of our population are being driven into poverty. So it is really a problem, but there is a promising future for medical device innovation because we have a world-class talent. We have people who are doctors, engineers, entrepreneurs who are doing, who have qualified very well in this country. However, I have a statement which I often make at various fora, is that what our doctors, our generation of doctors have contributed to healthcare in India is that no one has to go out of treatment, out of this country for any treatment. Having said that, we have failed miserably in emergency medical healthcare. The emergency medical healthcare is the next frontier, which the next generation has really to contribute. That is very demanding. Trauma, accidents, and emergencies is the next frontier where we have to really contribute in a big way. This is as far as the doctors are concerned. As far as the engineers are concerned, I think majority of them have to now contribute for healthcare innovation, for medical device innovation. So industry has contributed. There are some local products, local devices which have been done by GE and also by Siemens, and some of these products are getting into the market. But the government is spending a lot on healthcare and healthcare innovation. We have the Innovation Council, we have the Universal Health Coverage in the 12th plan, and this Universal Health Coverage is probably a very ambitious program. But if it takes off, which we all keep our fingers crossed about it, it is going to be one of the finest programs in the world. All preventive, primary, secondary care to be publicly financed free of cost. All tertiary care to be financed through single payer system. Government contracts in private sector for shortfalls to be strictly regulated. We've had problems in Uttar Pradesh and we've heard about that. 75% of public spending earmarked for primary health care. And health, since it's a state subject, central transfer of funds can be done under this program to meet any shortfall. So this program, if it takes off, is going to be really phenomenal. So there is a lot of entrepreneurial opportunities for healthcare innovation in India. I think most of the solutions that we are looking for are 80-90% solutions. We do not want to copy paste what is available in the West. We have to innovate into products, into devices, into diagnostics, imaging products, which are going to be low cost as well as with very small margins and broad access solutions. So investments, there are seed stage funding is not very active. Government has the money, government has been providing the money. Industry is contributing with money and time, and mentorship is very important for innovation. We need people who can train people to be innovative and to develop newer solutions for India. And we have Matt from Dimagi and Vikram Sheet Kumar from Dimagi has contributed for this. And India's Decade of Innovation has started. The Prime Minister has declared in 2010 at the Science Congress that the next 10 years is going to be Decade of Innovation, wherein India has to innovate solutions which are for the Indian people and they must be rapidly applied. So I think that brings us to a point how strong regulation has to be. I think we have to innovate first before we bring in a major regulation. There has to be a fine line between innovation and regulation. If you have too much regulation, it will kill innovation. So we have to build startups which are very lean and thin, without bells and whistles. Simple products, for example, the Johnson & Johnson blood sugar monitor. It doesn't have the memory, it just monitors blood sugar, and you can write it down on a piece of paper and keep that record. You don't need a huge big memory. It has to be very simple products. And you have to have good ethics and quality so that when there are medical devices created, there are some amount of quality and credibility created, and then a brand has to be created. So this is my last slide, and I'll say what is the future of medical device innovation in India. State healthcare will create more opportunities for indigenous innovations. Medical talent will flow back from the West, and there will be more and more grown indigenously. Reimbursements will be there and regulations will reach a critical mass, but we have to be careful about that. Chinese devices will enter the Indian market, but we need to be positive about it, but because they are going to spur competition and there will be more innovation in India if these devices are there. And Indian medtech will see a growth of about 10% over the next 10 years. And ultimately it will be the Indian, Chinese and the Israeli companies who will have to unite to produce devices which are there for not only the Indian market, but for the rest of the world. So in conclusion, India offers opportunities for innovation. Talent is there, the market is there. India is increasingly a lab to develop and test innovations for large local market, and potentially then serve the global market, because whatever is innovated in India is low cost because of the frugal mindset, and this experiment seems to be successful. And healthcare innovators in India can build a strong brand with ultimately global consequences. So I think in the next 10 years, there is going to be a lot of medical device innovation in India, which will be obviously initially class 1 devices, and if for the audience I'd like to explain what are class 1, class 2 and class 3 devices. Class 1 devices are spectacles, class 2 are contact lenses, and class 3 are lens implants. So I think initial development will be in class 1 and class 2 sector, and then more and more complicated devices will be manufactured within India, innovated within India. Thank you very much, and I wish you all the best.